welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Florida. I kind of wanted to document just a moment in time and a moment in my life where I want to talk about a growing trend and a very popular trend that I'm sure many of you have noticed on the internet right now, and that involves solo motorcycle travel, solo travel in general, and especially solo female motorcycle travel. If you guys are new here, my name is Jess. I ride all things two wheels. I'm currently on my 2023 BMW R18 bagger. I also have a 2018 Harley Davidson Road Glide, as well as a 2009 Harley Davidson Dyna and a 2022 Royal Enfield Himalayan. So I very much enjoy my motorcycles. I very much enjoy solo travel, but I do not enjoy getting interrupted. If you guys also enjoy motorcycle travel and all things two wheels, please consider subscribing to the channel. I am currently in the middle of a 3-week solo motorcycle trip. I produce new videos every single week and I'm really sweaty right now, so it's time to hop on the bike and get moving. Before we start moving, I want to show you Dolly. So Dolly is my 2022 BMW R18B. She is the 1800cc model and her name is Dolly because she has big jugs. This is by far one of the most beautiful motorcycles I have personally ever seen and personally ever owned, and we are having a lot of fun putting miles on this girl. So this is her, beautiful sparkly white, sparkly black and gold pinstriping. It does not show on the camera, and of course a lot of dead bugs because old girl gets ridden. So let's hop on the bike. The day I got down to Florida, it was in the mid 70s and beautiful. And now it's the most humid experience I've ever had in my life. It's like I'm in a sauna. So let's get out of here. So if you guys are new to watching YouTube, first of all, wow, welcome. A little late in the game, but it's better late than never, babe. But the one thing that I personally, and this is all algorithm based, I want you guys to know that. So if you're used to watching stuff like, you know, Mr. Beast, prank shows, stuff like that, you're probably not going to see too many solo traveling people. But if you're like me and you use the internet as a form of escapism, then you've probably noticed like a big trend, you know, van lifers, solo motorcycle travelers, backpackers, stuff like that, people traveling the world alone. So before I really start getting into why you're seeing the things you're seeing, I would love to know if you can leave a comment down below. Do you watch YouTube to learn new things, you know, like how-tos and stuff like that? Do you use it for education or do you use it for entertainment? I 100% use mine primarily for entertainment. Obviously, I gotta get on there and do a couple how-tos every once in a while, but for the most part, I'm watching YouTube like I would watch television. So I'd love to know your comments below. So first and foremost, I think one of the main reason why you are seeing more solo female travel on the internet right now is point blank just because there are more people on the internet. So with the internet and YouTube being totally free, there is way more opportunities for you to notice new things. New people are popping up every single day, new channels are popping up, and that is pretty much why it feels like you're seeing so much of this very specific subject. Whew, it is warm. Now in this video, I'm going to talk to you from like a very personal level and why I choose to do the things that I do on my channel. A lot of you who follow my channel will know that I'm very happily married. I have been with my husband, Jordan. He also has a YouTube channel if you would like to check it out. I've been with my husband for almost 18 years. Very happily married, no children. We have curated this little life that we have, and the one thing that we have appreciated about each other is we like to do what we want to do. So sometimes that means I want to go travel and do things and see people, and my husband would rather stay in the garage, work on projects, and be a homebody. And that is absolutely okay, and he's totally fine with the life that we have, you know, chosen for each other, not each other, but like how we live our life. And I think that's another thing that's really common in all of these solo female travel is either these women are in wonderful, honest, trusting relationships and they are okay traveling by themselves without their partners, or B, they're single and they have total freedom to do whatever the heck they want to do, which Good job, girl. Get it. For me personally, solo travel comes as a form of therapy. And even though I'm riding in a really hot state right now in road construction, this to me is therapeutic. Like, time in my helmet and time on two wheels is me time. And there's almost nothing more intimate than operating a 900-pound death machine while looking around like an idiot. I don't know. It's just like, this is me time, and this is the stuff that I look forward to. And if I don't get to do this often enough, I get real crabby. Like, I get real cranky. Every single time I twist the throttle, it's like a hit of dopamine. So, what do they call it? Throttle therapy. It really is. Motorcycling for many, many viewers is throttle therapy. Another reason why you're seeing so many women specifically online, traveling the world, living their best life, is it comes down to financial freedom. And believe it or not, you can make a living off of just being a quote-unquote social media influencer. There are plenty of channels way smaller than me, way bigger than me, that make way more money than me because of the type of content that they choose to produce and how their audience engages with that. So it really is a very realistic opportunity for a lot of these women to travel and work with brands and get to, live their best life and share it with the internet. It is a bunch of work. I think a lot of people are very misconstrued, thinking that, these YouTube videos and stuff, they're just like, oh, you're out riding a motorcycle. Wow, amazing. And you get paid to do that? Wow. Why would you complain about anything in the whole world? I would have to go ahead and let you guys know that riding motorcycles and making YouTube videos, it's about 20% riding, 80% editing, curating, and doing all of the footwork that comes with being a quote-unquote content creator. So, but it's financial freedom for a lot of people. When you're doing this for a living and you're working, you get to take the liberties and the freedom to document your time and really pick and choose where you get to explore. And with that new amazing technology comes new amazing ways of being safe. And I think especially for women, safety as a solo traveler, especially as a solo motorcyclist, where you don't have somewhere to just run away and hide for a little bit, it's a big deal. And so for me personally, my safety is I'll never publicly disclose how I choose to protect myself. But I do things like I'm constantly sharing my location with my friends and family. My husband always knows where I am. I have offline maps. I will download offline maps like from Google and stuff. I don't use a Garmin or a navigation, but I do have, my cell phone and Google. And if I know I'm going to an area with very low cell reception, I'll make sure that I download multiple gigs worth of offline maps so I have a safe way of getting home. I know where I'm going, So the new modern safety features allow so many people to be able to do more things by themselves. I'm going to drown in humidity. So, since we're on these slower speed roads, I'm going to ride with my visor open for a little bit. So truly one of the biggest and most influential reasons why women are choosing to travel by themselves is you get to do things at your own pace. And guys, I know 90% of you watching right now are gentlemen, and I very much appreciate you for watching. I hope you don't take this as a slight that men don't do this as well. I'm very well aware that men can do this as well. But coming from a woman's perspective, which is my whole channel, her two wheels, that's just how I get the point across to you guys. Basically, is I say women do this because, and it's because I'm a woman and I do certain things because. So the ability to explore and do things at your own pace, basically. And I will say, especially as a motorcyclist, being with a group of men or riding with men, inevitably, I don't think I've ever been with a group of men unless I was leading the group. It's always like I don't know how to appropriately say this, but it's always kind of like a nut swinging contest or a big dick contest. I don't know, but it always ends up being time with the Send It boys, and I'm just personally not into that. I ride big heavy cruisers because I enjoy the ride. I enjoy taking it slow and at my own pace. And when I'm traveling, I get to do that as well. If I decide I want to pull over and stare off into the waterfalls for an hour, I can, and there's nobody with me. And that's when you get to curate your own story when you do things like that. And so I truly encourage any of you guys watching right now, that if you are thinking about traveling by yourself, give it a try. Even if it's in your state, even if it's a couple hours away, just go book a hotel room somewhere, check in, pack up your motorcycle, unpack your bike, and go explore. Look up reviews, look up recommendations, and it's a really great way of developing a narrative for something that you really didn't have planned out all that well to begin with. And for me personally, that's kind of how I roll. I don't do a whole bunch of planning ahead when it comes to motorcycle travel. Give me a general direction and I'll hop on my bike and go. So one of my personal favorite perks about traveling by myself is I've become very resilient and self-reliant in overcoming mental barriers that might wear me down. So for many of you who know me, I really don't enjoy riding off-road or riding in dirt or gravel, and that's just the part of the country that I kind of live in. You know, I've never really had to experience taking hundreds of miles off-road, but it's when I do get myself into those situations and I am by myself, everything is heightened. Like, my sense of self-preservation is so much higher. And then when I do end up overcoming those obstacles or getting through a really bad rainstorm, you know, like having a gear malfunction or something, when I get to overcome those obstacles, it really gives me a better sense of self and a better sense of like critical thinking capabilities, I suppose. You know, it's not every single crisis is a crisis. It all just depends on my mood, basically. So if I'm in a mood where I'm not really mentally stable and capable of like taking care of myself, I won't do certain things. I have absolutely no ego. I have no problem turning around and saying, I'm not comfortable with this, I'm gonna go do something else. If you're new to my channel, I always want you guys to know to ride your own ride. It's fine to test your limits and push your limits and continue learning new things. But if you are just absolutely not feeling it, do not let people peer pressure you into it. Motorcycling is inherently dangerous and deadly. It's not worth it. It's not worth trying to please somebody else or make yourself look cool if you're just not into it. So when I'm by myself and I get to overcome certain obstacles, it's just a really good feeling. So since I live in the United States, pretty much everywhere I travel is within the exact same country, but that doesn't mean that I still don't get to experience cultural differences. You know, like people who live down in the low country in the south, or people who live up in the cities of the northeast and stuff like that, the mountains, the oceans, like everywhere that I have ridden in the United States has had a very distinct flavor, if you know what I'm saying. So being able to kind of like fully immerse myself into those cultural differences on a motorcycle is something you can't really avoid. Like I said, you don't have somewhere to run away and hide. You are in the element. You are in this country. Like right now, I'm in Florida and it is just hotter than Hades and I'm in it. Just in it to win it. I got to get through it. But it's just so fun being down here as a motorcyclist and seeing how the bike culture in Florida is vastly different from the bike culture in Ohio. And you see it in the infrastructure, you see it in the businesses and the way people operate and how they ride. And I love it. I love experiencing new hobbyists in that manner. So there is sometimes online, especially, when you can kind of tell the difference between somebody who genuinely enjoys traveling alone or somebody who does it because they think it's going to get them a lot of views or they think they're going to go viral. And I think for those people like myself who genuinely enjoy traveling alone, it's kind of like a deep-rooted mental thing. So I was personally raised as an only child. I didn't have my younger siblings until I was like at least 9 years old. So my entire like actual childhood, I was alone. You know, I had a mom who worked full-time, a dad who worked full-time, and I was constantly taking care of myself and babying myself, babysitting myself, and I really, really fell in love with it. I was never lonely, if that makes any sense. Like, it might sound sad when you hear somebody say that, like, oh, your parents weren't around when you were little. I'm like, well, yeah, they were around, but they just not every second of every day like I feel like today's children are. So I grew so much to love that sense of self. My imagination got to run wild. I got to really be whoever I wanted to be without worrying about Am I being cool? Am I being well behaved? Am I being like what my parents want me to be? Parents didn't really care. I think my parents just were like super happy that I didn't turn into like a drug addict or pregnant at 13 years old. So I have a wonderful family, and that's a whole nother conversation. But for me, it really developed that sense of self, and it told me I was happy being alone. And I am still very, very much happy being alone, even though, like I said, I have been married. I have been with my husband for 18 years. I love spending time alone. I will absolutely go into another room and read my book or watch TV or illustrate or watch YouTube, and I don't have to have somebody there with me all the time to feel like I'm having an engaging conversation or an engaging relationship. I truly enjoy having the sense of self and being alone. So when you see a lot of the women online who they claim to travel solo, but they're always like meeting up with somebody or have the intention of going and seeing new people, and that's absolutely fine. I do that too. I'm literally in Florida spending time with my friends. But to travel solo and to genuinely be alone and not know who you're going to have a meal with next time and when you're going to actually see somebody that you registered, that is an entirely new sense of freedom that I personally haven't experienced until last year. I was on a 3-week solo motorcycle trip, and I really, really fell in love with the unknown, I guess you could call it. So I think on social media now, there are a lot of people who are also falling in love with that unknown. And it's like, I don't know who I'm going to see next. I don't know when there's going to be civilization. I don't know if I'm going to run out of gas on this trip. It's exciting. And I personally hate to admit it, but I truly feel like one of the main reasons why solo female travel has become so popular over the past couple years is because, unfortunately, especially in the United States, women are still working to break out of the defined stereotypes. It's so much better than, where it was just 10 years ago. I couldn't hop on a motorcycle 10 years ago and not be absolutely objectified by almost anybody. And now that's completely changing, and I truly have social media to thank for that, because it's exposure. Like if you are exposed to something over and over and over again, eventually you get desensitized to it. And so that's something when people, especially men, are like, why do you think you're special? Why do you act like you're special? You're nothing special. Of course women can ride motorcycles, blah, 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 blah. That's not, I don't feel special. I don't think I'm special, and I certainly don't feel entitled to special treatment. But it is still a slow stereotype that women are capable and able and actually want. I think wanting to do this is a huge role into why women travel solo, geez, words. And it is because growing up, I'm 34 years old. I am a very, very prominent millennial. I am the last generation that got to experience the world before the internet. I remember having to go over to my friend's house and knock on their door and ask if they want to come out and play because I couldn't text them or I couldn't send them an email, So I vividly remember growing up and being told, literally being told, that I have to gain an education, I have to go to college, I have to find somebody, marriage, and I have to provide for my family. And that's actually so much different than what the narrative was 60 years ago. It's ever evolving, especially as a woman. The man has always kind of been in one position, and that is protector, provider. That's a man. That's what the quintessential man should be, or what people think it should look like. Obviously, I don't think that way. I think it's much different. Do whatever the hell you want. You're a human. But for women, it was very much like, you are a partner. You are obligated to provide for your family and take care of your family and do the best that you can for your family and sacrifice the things that you might want to do as a person, because you have to do this maternal bullshit thing. I personally don't have children. I don't want children, ever. That is a choice. I don't not have kids for a sad reason. It is a very active choice on my part to not be a mother. It's finally, I think, that constant exposure, especially for younger women, and especially younger women getting into motorcycles, that constant reinforcement, like, no, you don't have to be a mother. I don't care if people say you're gonna die a lonely cat lady. Like, don't threaten me with a good time. That sounds rad. But it's this constant reminder that we are still working to break down those social barriers, and women in the motorcycling industry, which motorcycling is motorsports and power sports, and motors in general is a very, very heavily male-dominated industry. And that's fine. I'm not upset by that. That doesn't piss me off. I'm not going to be like, we need more women and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, we need more women to do whatever the hell they want to do. And if that involves motorsports, then we need to support it. Because, yeah, freedom of choice. You have the freedom. You have the right to do whatever the hell you want to do in this country. So, like, am I pissed off that more men aren't wanting to go be, like, nail technicians or cosmetologists or something? You know, like, trust me, I know there are plenty of males doing that, but it's a very heavily female-dominated thing. So I didn't want to get into that topic, and I'm still not in that topic. But it is, at the end of the day, a lot of men ride motorcycles. More men than women ride and buy motorcycles, and it is changing, and it's changing rapidly. Women are by far the fastest growing motorcycling part of motorcycling, I guess. I don't know. I'm not being very eloquent today. I need more coffee. But the constant reassurance on social media, solo travel on two wheels, if at the end of the day I can encourage one woman watching this video right now, if this is something that she's thinking about dabbling into, or maybe it's something that she's never even thought about before, but seeing this video and seeing my other videos inspire her to give it a go herself, boom, 10 out of 10. I can die happy. And that wasn't even my intent. You know, I make these videos because they're fun and I enjoy it. I'm not out here trying to change the world. But if there's one person that gains value from this and it helps steer them into a direction that changes their life, holy shit, of course I want that to happen. Like, of course. It's these, you know, the butterfly effect is real. And you never know until looking back. And that's what happened to me. You know, the tiniest decisions in the moment that I made in my life had the largest impact with the trajectory of my life. So I think that's where so many people have really found value in watching escapism. And I think at the end of the day, that's what it is. Solo travel is escapism. And I live for it. I know plenty of other people on the internet watching live for it, and we look forward to it. You know, that's why if I read a book, I'm not reading nonfiction. Ew. I don't want to read books to experience real life. That sounds awful. I want to escape too. And it's weird to say that out loud because I live a very wonderful, fulfilled life. But there are certain things that happen every day that are out of my control and they make me sad. So yeah, I wanna escape too. So I hope with all that talking, this is something that you guys might consider trying one day for yourself and sharing it with other people like us on the internet. And if you are not an online content creator, or if you are not a solo female traveler, I truly encourage you to try as hard as you can to present yourself as an ally to solo women traveling. You know, the thing I hear the most is like, you have to be safe. Be safe, watch yourself, always protect yourself. And so as a man, I think the best advice I can give you is if you run into someone who's traveling solo on the road, probably don't ask if she's traveling solo. That seems like a very prying comment for a lot of women who are by themselves. And personally, we'll lie. We'll just straight up lie to you and say, nope, I have friends, meeting up with friends, going to get lunch, yada, yada, yada. So try to present yourself as a fellow rider, an ally, and an advocate for traveling on two wheels in general. And you know, if you know of a safe space or a good restaurant or somewhere where she can go and feel safe and protected, please encourage her to look up those locations or seek out a comforting person if she needs it. Sometimes we just want to be alone. On the subject of solo motorcycle travel, I really hope you guys consider subscribing to the channel. I would love to see the channel hit 200,000 subscribers, because in our next couple videos, we are heading to my favorite part of the entire country as a rider, and truth be told, as a non-rider as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until my next one, you be good, ride motorcycles, and I'll see you later.